First, the Thomas Hardy. It's called The Mayor of Casterbridge. I always overlooked Thomas Hardy. I don't know why. He is, as far as I know, he's still in that key Victorian time period, but he never seemed as important to me as like a Dickens or a Thackeray or a Collins or the Brontes. And I never knew which books were supposed to be the good ones. If you asked me to name a Thomas Hardy book, I couldn't do it. Um, but I've been told he's good. PJ in particular has insisted that I check him out at some point. So I got two Thomas Hardy books about 2 years ago, and I finally finally got around to reading one of them. The Mayor of Casterbridge. It is good, but he is not on the level of like a Dickens, okay? He's just not. But it's still a very good book. Reading it, it doesn't even read like other Victorian books. I'm wondering if it came maybe slightly later. I find it to be a bit more
It's apparently written in 1886.
still pretty much in that time period, a little bit
Yeah.
later maybe than some of our classics, but yeah, it reads to me a little bit more like an American book, actually. I would say the style is closer to like the Scarlet Letter than it is to Thackeray, but um I did really like it. Okay, I really liked it, so that's fair. I'll go into the plot summary in a little second, but I'll just go ahead. It's good to
Okay.
have that band just permanently in the studio, um, ready to perform. So basically, we don't know that our guy is the mayor initially, but here's how it opens. Okay, so we've got a chap called Henchard, and he's there with his wife, and he's in a tavern, and he's drunk. Drunken reprobate type, and he says, "Okay, anybody here want to buy my wife for £5?" And at first, people are joking, and then he's like, "No, I'm serious. Like, take her away. I don't want her. £5, anyone." And a sailor walks in, and he's like, "Okay, I'll take her. £5." And the wife is like, "Listen, I know you're joking around, but he's just offered the £5." And the husband says, "I'm not joking. Off you go." So sailor leaves with the wife. Husband wakes up the next day, and he's like, "Oh, damn it. I've gone and lost my wife and child to this sailor. I've just sold them
Oh,
for a fiver."
okay.
And
Well, at
that's
the time.
not ideal. I mean, yeah, okay, I guess the five was worth a bit more, but still. And, you know, so what happens is he then kind of, I mean, she's gone, but he kind of still gaslights her empty space. He's like, if she hadn't let me get drunk and done, this wouldn't have happened. Like, it's her fault somehow, you know? Um, so immediately, and this is like the first chapter, and you're like, so this guy is a real piece of work.
Hmm.
Um, so he then vows, he's 21 years old, and he says, I will stop drinking 1 year for every year that I've lived. So he takes a 21-year vow of sobriety. And he does go out and look for his wife. He does try to find her, but he can't. Okay? So now we cut to the wife with the daughter. The daughter is Elizabeth Jane. Um, and basically, the mother is saying to Elizabeth Jane, like, hey, so your dad, the sailor, is dead. But we do have this old relative, Henchard, and we are with your dad dead. I don't know what we're supposed to do, so let's see if we can find old Henchard, and maybe he'll help us out financially a little bit. You know, so this girl doesn't know. The mother's called Susan, by the way. The girl doesn't know that Henchard's her real father. She thinks the sailor was, and why not?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you probably acted more like a father. Wasn't going to
Right?
sell it for, well, less than 5 quid.
It is interesting because he does buy her, but they skip with that a lot of years. They only allude to him once or twice. As far as we know, he treated her well and they had a good relationship. It
Hmm.
does come up later that things went downhill a little bit right at the very end when she eventually realized the £5 was actually not a legally binding transaction. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you can't buy women.
Yeah, so she doesn't know this for like the majority of the book. And she eventually realizes it. I'm gonna jump back and forward a little bit because just while I'm on it, in case I forget to come back to it, here's a spoiler: he's not really dead. What happens is he sees that she's figured it out and she's unhappy, and to make her life easier, he pretends to die at sea. So now she's free.
Oh, that's kind of sweet in a weird way.
In a way, right? So she goes and finds Henchard, and he's turned his life around. He is now the mayor, he's the church warden, he's really respected in town, he's got a big farming business. And when he meets her, she sends the daughter first to say hello. The mother does the typical Victorian drama. She's like, I've seen him, that's it, that's all I wanted. My life's work is complete. I've seen him from a distance, now I can die in peace. The daughter's like, well, I see no reason why you would just die, so let me go and talk to him. And he gives her money. He's like, there's £5 straight away. So he pays back the debt, basically, gives it to the daughter and says, there's some money for you. And also, please send your mum around. Like, I want to meet you both. I'm really happy that you're here. And, he's a respected man in town. He hasn't drank in years. And now we think that he's really changed and he's a good guy. And to be honest, he more or less is, to be honest. So he then offers to marry the mum. And he says, look, let's do the right thing. We should be together. It's then weird because he tries to explain your marriage to the sailor wasn't real. You're actually still married to me, technically.
Hmm.
But let's pretend that never happened so as not to cause a scandal in town and so as not to confuse the girl. Let's pretend that I'm courting you now and then we'll marry.
Oh, okay.
So he wants to keep up appearances.
Your
So,
favorite television show.
like,
Also,
yes.
apparently, the most exported show from the BBC.
Whoa, really? Wow.
Apparently, yeah, in Scandinavia, they really love it, I guess.
Fantastic. They were
Thank
the
you,
greatest show of all
TY.
time. Good.
Anyway,
Um, there is another girl, Lucetta, that he was kind of courting, and he writes her a letter and says, "Look, I can't keep up our dalliance because my wife is here, basically." So that's fine. There's a Scottish guy. His name is Farfrae, but I call him Fanfare because it looks like Fanfare. He's gone off to America, but he has something that can cure ruined grain. So our man is like, don't go to America. Just stay here. I'll pay you whatever you want. Be my farm manager. And so the guy stays, and they kind of have a friendship. Hencher depends on him a lot. But then Hencher gets really jealous because he's a better farmer than him. He's better with the workers, and he's more liked in the town. And he actually becomes Mr. Popular. He then also starts a dalliance with his daughter. So he's
oh,
fired and kicked out and told to go away.
yeah, that's about right.
But it turns out the mother wanted him to get with the daughter. Because
Okay.
why not? I mean, someone's going to get with her. There is a funny line where the daughter realizes she's attractive and she's like, all the men in the town will flirt with me. But they've not realized that I'm not a finished girl. She's not had education. And she specifically says, I can't speak Italian or read a globe. What are they going to do with me, without those two skills?
You need
Um,
to learn your Latin and your Greek. And
so what happens is several sort of several twists essentially. So the mother is going to die, and she leaves a note to Henchard, and she says, "Don't open this till I'm gone, basically, and until our daughter's already married." But he can't help it, and he opens it. So he tells the daughter, by the way. So it all comes out, and he eventually tells her, "I'm going to reveal a secret to you. You're actually my daughter all along." Because now it's just the two of them left. And he's like, "Look, you've been my daughter all along. You might as well use my name and legally be my daughter." Right?
Hmm.
And then he reads the letter from the mother, which says, Your daughter died. I had another daughter with a sailor and just gave her the same name.
Oh no.
So, right after telling her, he then discovers that it's not true. He doesn't know how to untell her, so he just never does and leaves it as a lie, which is
Oh, that's
not good.
awful.
Yeah,
No, it's not, but I know exactly. I would do the
right?
exact same thing in that situation.
It's
You
pretty
dug
rough.
such a big hole for yourself.
Yep. Then the girl he was going to date comes back, Lucetta, hires his daughter to work for her so that he can visit her on pretense of seeing his daughter, so that she can then court him and marry him. But then she jilts him for his employee Fanfrey. So
Oh
Fanfrey
no.
leaves the daughter and then goes after and ends up marrying his ex, essentially. Then the sailor comes back and he's like, I'm not really dead. I would like my daughter, please. So then the daughter finds
Oh
out he's
no.
lied.
Oh no.
Then his business fails and he's broke. Fanfrey starts up a rival farm, which does much better. His house is gone to the creditors. Fanfrey buys his house, says to him, please still live in it. You can live with us. It's a big house. There's plenty of space. I've also separately bought all your furniture at auction. Take it all. Live with me or not. It's all yours. But he's so prideful. He's like, I can't take anything from you. And he physically fights him and beats him up. And he says, you've taken my house. You've taken my wife. You've taken my daughter. And he has, but not through any fault of his own.
Oh no.
Padre's trying to be a good
That's
guy,
sad.
and it's so sad. And then the 21 years expire, and he starts drinking again because
Wow.
everything's gone to pot. It's so
Well,
sad.
hey, at least it's a good time.
Yeah, it's the right time to start drinking, I guess. Everything is a disaster. This is only about 330 pages. It's really good though. Like this story is full of twists and turns, and in a
Yeah.
way that yes, he's bad at the beginning. He really, really does improve and make amends. He's a good guy by the end. Yes, he lies to his daughter, and that's really bad. Don't get me wrong. But apart from that, he's trying to be good.
Yeah.
Fanfrey's also good, and it's just really bad that things work out that way, and he gets this petty jealousy. And he's right. Like Fanfrey's off he is with his daughter and his house and his furniture and his wife, and now the real father's in, and this guy's exiled, and it's so sad, you know. And he's
Oh.
working for Fanfrey, and when the wife comes out, he's like, any idea what time we're allowed to finish? Us poor working class folk don't have clocks about us, you know." And he really starts like getting into the martyr sort of syndrome, like he's just a poor working farmer, even though he was a gentleman like a month before. Um, and off he goes to wander aimlessly, as they do in all these type of books. And his will, at the very end, Michael Henchard's will, first thing that his daughter is not told of his death because he doesn't want to inconvenience her in any way or made to grieve on account of me. And then listen to this. This is how he sees himself by the end. He just thinks he's trash. I should not be buried in consecrated ground. No sexton shall toll the bell. Nobody should see my dead body. No mourners shall walk at my funeral. No flowers shall be put on my grave. No man shall remember me.
It's just the most depressing book, isn't it?
Kind of.
Oh
So,
no.
of course it gets a yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
I
very
I loved
Victoria,
it.
yes.
It's
It's kept me interested.
it
That's for
it
sure.
was interesting. Like I kind of didn't see some of the twists coming, and I never thought that she wasn't really going to be the daughter, or that the who has two children and just names her like a replacement. Like, well, Elizabeth Jane's dead. Here comes a new Elizabeth Jane.
Here's Spot 2.
Yeah, and to be fair,
Like,
let's point out the mother, until she writes that letter, not to be opened until after she's dead and the daughter is married, she lies to this man. She comes back
yeah.
and says, we're poor, my husband's left me or died or something. Here is a fake daughter.
And she probably said, and our daughter, as in could be mistaken as his or the sailor's.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And he
that's not good. So it's
really
the
tries to
mother's
make
fault.
amends, but in a way, yeah. But I mean, of course, he also sold her, so I don't think she owes him anything.
Yeah, that's also
But
very
he's
fair.
constantly trying to do right by his employee until they fall out, by his daughter, even when he finds out she's not his real daughter, by both women. He offers to marry them both when he can, when he thinks that's the right moral thing to do. The only time the book confuses me morally is when the daughter finds out that Lucetta is going to marry, and she says, either you marry my father or you stay single forever. And she's like, no, I'm going to marry Fanfare. And the daughter's like, you can't morally do it. You were once engaged to my father. That is your only option. And the mother's kind of like, why?
I kind of like that though. It's like you made this promise already.
Yeah.
So
And then the mother's like, well, I asked your advice after the fact. I actually married in fanfare yesterday, so it's too late.
Fan Fray, which for some
It's
reason I
actually
keep
Farfrey,
imagining
but
Farfray. Okay. I keep
yeah.
imagining a donkey for some reason. Like a bray.
Yes. So that's that one. I really liked it. I have to say, I really liked it.